That's Mother's Day 2017. I literally just put these St. Louis style, I cut them myself, ribs, a firebox. I got up going good with some charcoal. I only use my stack to start it. I don't use charcoal lighter fluid, even though that usually don't matter. You can see I have 3 big chunks of apple wood in there and probably about a half bag of charcoal. So, and then I have the ribs right here. I have them all seasoned up with typical things and some stuff that I use for myself. Now, usually you see a lot of people take this silver skin off of these ribs here. The stuff that I put on them, just the mixtures of stuff, will literally break them down like it's not even there. And it'll actually hold them apart, because the way I cook these ribs, when I'm actually done, they you try to take them off the grill and they'll literally they'll fall apart and shred on you. So I like to keep that on there because it helps keep them together. You can see I got some mods going on inside here. It's a little dirty. I did a lot of smoking the last 2 weeks. The grate's not, but the stuff below it. So yeah, that's the Oklahoma Joe's smoker. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen. I'm gonna try doing. People say to do a 3-2-1 method. Usually I'll run and do like a 2-2-1. It's usually more than enough, but 3-2-1, if you're doing like four ribs, would be great. But seeing how I don't have none of the remnants, it's just strictly, St. Louis style. I already got the tips cut. So these are small stacks of meat. The applewood's going to penetrate into that really nice. And if you guys want any tips or anything about these mods, I have the clamps. I have the fire seal along the whole thing. These clamps that I have attached with high temp Permatex. So I have that on each side. I have the seal around the fire box, which has to be a different type. Aftermarket, temperature gauges, which these temperature gauges are not the best, as you can see. They actually can pivot. These are tightened all the way down. They actually pivot. So the only way I could get these adjusted properly is when it was 100 degrees outside. I had to stick it dead on 100 degrees from the sun. That's how I was able to actually pivot these properly. I would not recommend this brand at all. And then I have I think it's a 3.5 inch elbow that's supposed to be for a dryer or ductwork of some kind. I have that, so it goes down almost to the grate. There's still a little gap in there in order to allow the smoke to fill up the chamber versus just going, coming in through here, going across, and just dumping straight out the side up the pipe. So it'll actually bring it over, and then it'll kind of resonate before it actually will go out. And then I took I know it's kind of ghetto, but I took a side to an old HP computer box and I cut it to what I needed. I don't know if you can really see that, but it goes down here, and I have it cut out, and it comes back up and over, and then it's on like a 30-degree angle, and it's coming from the top of the firebox there, and it runs down to the bottom of the grates. And what that's doing is it's allowing the heat to slowly spread out. And then I just have a pan in there for some water just to introduce a little moisture. Then I use this guy here. It's ThermPro. It's okay. It's not bad. And then I have a receiver on the inside of the house, so I can watch it from inside the house when it's the weather's not great outside. So I hang that right here, and I have a probe sitting there again. And that probe will let me know exactly what the temperature is of the smoke as it exits. And then I have, the secondary probe going into the meat where I want it to let me know when the meat hits what I want. So when this hits about 2 hours and 45 minutes or so, maybe 2 hours and 50 minutes, and then I'm going to run or if the meat hits like 160-ish degrees, I'll come out and throw foil on it. I don't always do that, but then I'll come out and throw some foil on it for about an hour and 45 to 2 hours maybe, until the meat hits right around 180 degrees, which is more than enough. And then when I pull that off, the tin foil off, the meat will have receded off of the bone. I mean, off the tips here. You'll see how it's pulled back on my next clip. These down. This actually stops a lot of smoke from escaping out of the side once you lock it down. Same thing, you know, I have it on both sides. The thing you want to do, like on the smoke, you want to barely be able to see it. I'm actually getting a good shot because it's kind of dark out right now with the sun, but you want it to be like a light blue hue where it's almost invisible. If you get like super white, like here, like if it's super white, then you're probably starving off. You know, you don't have enough air to get into your firebox to feed, so it's going to be choking out. But even this is because it wasn't started too long ago, but you can see how you can see almost through it, like it's transparent, you know, you can see straight through. So you just want it just a light bit of smoke, just a little bit, so you can kind of see how to me it looks blue. I call it like a blue smoke. That's what I try to keep it at. So we'll see where it's at when we come back. This is how your smoke should look. Try to get a better shot on that. All right, I mean, you can barely see it. See that? Now that I have the other side adjusted right, and it takes a minute, especially when you're using a wood smoker like me. It's not like you can set it and forget it like these electric smokers. Not that there's anything wrong with them. I like having control of all the elements, because I can have my high heat here. You know, obviously that's the firebox, that's heating it. It's coming over here, being exchanged into the actual smoker, and then it'll tell me what my temperature is, where the fire is, the initial heat's bleeding over into the box, and then it'll give me where it is coming across here to the smoke temp. And in case there's any doubts and there is something skewed about that, then I have my digital right here that will relay to me remotely exactly what's going on. That way I know where the smoke temperature is inside of there. And it may be overkill, but it's something I really enjoy. So again, this is exactly what you want on a smoker. If it's more than this, you could have bitter meat, and you could have a lot of wasted meat. There's nothing worse than a lot of people expecting good smoked food, and then you having to break the news or make excuses on why it doesn't taste well. So yeah, so this is what you're looking for. Again, this is what I consider to be called blue smoke, because to me that's kind of what it looks like. It's a dark gray. There's no sooty, nasty mess. So you'll find the perfect ratio once you get the charcoal or wood started and you get it burning to the right consistency. Then you adjust that airflow. You know, after you close the top of the firebox, you have to adjust the airflow. And that would be done on most things by doing, you could do this door. This door just doesn't allow enough air in. So I use that in conjunction with actually opening the door. And I found the right ratio to get that almost invisible blue smoke that I go after. So yeah, so we'll see you in a bit and get you an update. So if you're ever trying to make perfect smoked things, especially your proteins, this color smoke is the ticket right here, right there. So that's it. And again, if you guys need any information or want to know about any mods that I've done to the smoker, or what brands that I've used, or I've used other things too that have failed. So if you guys even have any questions, feel free to ask. I will answer them. So I think 2 hours and 40 minutes or so. We'll go ahead and see how she's doing. All right, so this is where we're at so far. You can see how the meat is recessed off the bone, and here as well. So yeah, it's now it's time for me to get them wrapped up and get maybe just a little more heat on them. Yes, they're not quite. I'll have to roll them too. So this is where we're at so far. So I'm gonna try to do this with my phone propped up, but now I got a tinfoil them since it's been about 2 hours and 45 minutes. So I'm gonna take these off, try to keep as much juice as you can. In this cup side, I'm gonna try keeping it up so the juices can stay on top of it. So that's one. And this is going to require, because I got the cheap tin foil, so it's not really big enough to go around everything. So that's how we do that. Throw it back over again. I keep the cup side facing up. I'm gonna throw these back on here. Now, since I already marinated these and I soaked them in a mixture of butter and other miscellaneous spices, apple cider, apple juice, and apple cider vinegar, and I'll occasionally spray these. They've absorbed a lot. So what I'm gonna do is the only thing that I'm gonna do is wrap these up. They're very, the juice is very plentiful. I'm gonna keep it nice and juicy just like that. And wrap it up. And let the natural juices work. I know you see some people load them up with butter. Brown sugar is another method. There's nothing wrong with that. I do that sometimes. I just want to do a nice natural flavor. And I don't want to drown out the flavor of my smoke. And yet, even as of an hour ago, the ribs were technically done. Again, I'm smoking them. Now, I'm not going to add any type of smoke or anything like that to this after they're wrapped because it's absolutely pointless. It cannot penetrate the metal. So I would be wasting wood at that point. So I'm pretty much done. This is all going to be offset heat from this point. I'm going to have no more, there's going to be no more wood applied to this after I finish these guys up. You're going to see them when I unwrap them. They're going to be extremely juicy. There's going to be juice dripping out of these things. It's very important that they have rest time after they're done cooking. So I'm going to go ahead and add a little more charcoal to my box. This is where I'm at right now. So I'm going to clean out some of the coals. I do that by shaking the lower rack a little bit and scraping it out with a long old spatula that I don't use, which is right here. And that way the air flow doesn't get blocked from underneath it. I'm going to add a few more bricks on top of there with all of this still left open, because we don't want that nasty, I don't want that nasty soot coming over into my food chamber. So I'll leave everything wide open just like this. Throw it back in there. It'll take about 5 minutes, maybe 6 minutes with the temperature inside here. I think it's close to 600 degrees in here. It won't take long at all to get the new charcoal going and white, and then I'll be able to let that continue to warm up until it stops giving off smoke, and then I'll be able to close the box down, close this up for another hour and 45 minutes or so, and then you'll see the finished product, or close to finished product. So we'll see you guys at that point. My probe right here, and I don't know if you've seen how I did the probe so the juices don't leak. They'll still leak a little bit, but not as bad. I wrap it with one piece of foil coming one way, another piece of foil coming the other way. Sometimes I'll wrap around the shaft of it first, and then do the same thing, and usually it doesn't leak. You'll notice I stopped putting water in my water pan. Again, it's not going to serve any purpose on wrapped ribs. So I've cleaned out the remnant ashes from my firebox, and I have added fresh charcoal on top of there, probably about, I don't know, 25 to 30 bricks or so, and it will not take long at all for these to stop smoking. You can see the smoke that's coming out. When I'm using just charcoal, I want no smoke, none. So I will let this keep going. It's not even going to be 5 minutes, and it's already turning white. It hasn't even been in there for 45 seconds, and it should be able to close this down and let this to finish cooking. I'll shoot for a more higher heat when I'm doing this, because I'm trying to get the rib temperatures now. I want my thermometer at least saying 180 to 185 degrees. For one reason, I'm not trying to overcook them, but since they're wrapped in foil now, I'm trying to get them to release the juices, which will reabsorb into them as I let them set later. But I want them to basically, when you do that, and then they're going to fall off the bone. When I take the foil off of these, you're going to see if I wanted to twist one of the bones off, it would twist off. And you guys, I'm sure you already know this. If you're watching this video, you're already have been working on, with smokers and barbecues, I'm sure. But this is just this is what they call the 3-2-1 method. It never really takes. It's a good rule of thumb, but for me, it's like 2.5 hours the first time, hour and a half maybe the second time, and then maybe 30 to 40 minutes on the third one. So it's not really a 3-2-1. I guess it's a good, I don't know, guide, if you will. But to me, this just works out better. I started off doing the full 3, the full 2, then the full 1, and it just seemed, I don't know, it didn't seem to make a difference whatsoever. The meat wasn't any more tender. It didn't taste any more different. It was just, it just seemed like it was wasted heat, and then you have to add more charcoal for, when I do like a half bag of charcoal, it'll get me like 2 hours and 30 to 2 hours and 45 minutes before it starts falling under 220 degrees. So to me, I wouldn't want to have to leave this open, and then heat more charcoal up, and wait for the smoke to go down, and then close everything back up just to put it back in there for another 25 minutes, or whatever. To me, it's just a waste of charcoal, and it's even more of a waste of time. So, well, that's the method of my madness. I don't know. You'll find your own shortcuts, or whatever you find more beneficial. So as you go, but yeah. So I'm gonna be locking this back down, and I will see you guys when it's time to get these wraps off. So here we are. I don't know. About an hour and 40 minutes later, I'm gonna open these guys up. See what we have. I know I can safely remove this probe. It's not going to serve me any purpose. So let's see. I hope you guys can see this okay. It's going to be hot, but let me see. Okay. hot. Okay. Sorry, I'm sure the noise is probably a little aggravating, but alright, now you can see the good recess along the bone. That juice I was talking about. Look at this. See this pooling up on here? Underneath it. These bones. I could literally twist these out of here if I wanted to. I don't want to, but I mean you can see just it's so tender. Now I'm still gonna do, another 60. No, I'll probably do another 40 minutes on this low heat. But I mean, you can you can see how good that they have turned out. So I mean, this, like, I could twist this right out. I mean, it's so moist. So what I do now, position this, and I flip it like this. See, now I've been cooking on its back that whole time, and now that's over. And now I'm gonna let the juices redistribute in there. Do the same thing with this one, and we should be good to go. So the final finished product will give you, I'll show you. Again, it's gonna be probably another 40 minutes or so. Should be so ready to eat. This should be the finished product. See, you can see how, I don't know, I mean, it's about to fall apart. It's like this bone here, I can just, pull it. It's just as smooth as can be. See what I'm saying? So there's that. I'm just gonna go ahead and throw that down in my firebox so my dogs don't get it. And put these things on the grill, or get these things off the grill, I mean. So alright, so now I just have to grab these. They're hot. That's okay. Still bubbling a little bit. So there you go. And then, like I said, that silver skin or whatever, it's a joke. I mean, there is what silver skin? You see what I'm saying? Yeah, not too bad. I mean, I've made much better ribs. You can slow cook them. Pretty much whatever you want to do. I mean, these technically were done long ago. They just weren't done up to my standards. But yeah, like I said, I mean, just comes out, goes back in. So that's that. Again, if you have any questions or comments, please ask. I'll be more than happy to answer them if I'm able. Just let me know. I do some gaming and stuff too, but I don't know. This is Mother's Day and wasn't a lot going on, so I figured I would just share how to cook a mean rib. I mean, if you want some really good tender ribs, then you should definitely follow this one. But yeah, there are many other ways, and if you need any advice on how to prep them, or whatever, if you want to remove the silver skin, there's tips and tricks to do that. I'll do that on larger ribs, but when I cut them down for St. Louis style, for me, it's not nothing to worry about. So, okay, I hope you enjoyed, and thank you for watching. This is Greg, aka the Master Pimp. Thank you.